this all-important conference, Nigerian Housing Finance Conference 2018, taking place here at Shehu Musa Yaradua Center, Abuja. I'd like to salute the doggedness of the person responsible for putting all this together. It is also because he's passionate about ensuring that we have affordable housing for one and all. And it has to start from somewhere. I'd like to please welcome, first of all, the chairperson of this occasion. Let me please put our hands together as we welcome the chairman of this occasion, retired permanent secretary, Basi Akbayong. Can we please welcome him to the stage with a resounding applause? So, welcome the man whom I've said is the vision, the man with the vision driving this conference. I'd like to please very specially recognize the presence of Mr. SKY Adelakun, MD, CEO, AHFIS-Affordable Housing. Can we please welcome him to the stage with a resounding applause as well? I then want to welcome to the head table Alhaji Shuaib Gandu. Can we please welcome Alhaji Shuaib Gandu to the head table, please? Is he here? Alhaji Gandu? Okay, we must have misplaced a particular name, but I think Iskar Sani Bala, who is here, sitting in for Professor Ibrahim Agbola Gambari, CFR, Nigeria's former permanent representative to the United Nations. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you for coming. Let me also recognize the presence of Hajia Kangiwa. Can we please welcome Hajia Kangiwa to the head table, to the stage, so to speak? Can we please make that applause for her a lot louder? Hajia, Wasimala. That clap for a woman should have come even louder, if you ask me. I then want to invite very quickly to join members of the head table, David Ndegwa, Managing Director, Property Dynamics, Kenya. Can we please welcome him with a round of applause? Karibu, Asante Sana. You're most welcome, sir. I hope I'm not leaving any name out. Okay, Vera Mass Housing. I don't know if Mrs. Yinka Adekoya is here. Mrs. Yinka Adekoya. Please, let's welcome her to the head table as well. Please put your hands together for Mrs. Yinka Adekoya. Thank you. Now that we have the stage and the seats on the stage occupied, I think I have the permission of the chairman of this occasion to kickstart this event as we get started with the opening ceremony. May we please rise for the national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. We'd like to get the event started in earnest. with a word of prayer. And this actually, for me, whichever way we want to look at it, this is a national event. And every national event, what we normally do is to take the second stanza of a national anthem as our prayer. I don't know if the chairman is going to permit that goes on, but if not, okay. He has given us the nod to go ahead with the second stanza. May we please recite the second stanza of a national anthem together. 1, 2, go. We'll rise again, please, bear with me. O God of creation, Directors Conference, Nigerian Housing Finance Conference 2018, organized by AHFIS-Affordable Housing. And the MD CEO will be setting the tone for this conference by having to welcome all of us formally to this event. May I, at this juncture, therefore, invite and would also enjoy that you join me in welcoming him to the podium, the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, NSIH Affordable Housing, Mr. SKY Adelakun. Please a very warm round of applause for him as he steps up to the stage.
Your Excellencies, the Chairman of today, my friend and colleague, Permanent Secretary Basi Apoyon, the representative of Professor Gambari, my friend and brother again, Ambassador Sonny Bala, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we're all very important. We have started late, so I'll go straight to the business of the day. I am honored and privileged to welcome this august gathering to the second Nigeria Housing Finance Conference and Affordable Housing Fair 2018. This is a private sector initiative. It's driven by passion of Nigeria Affordable Housing Group to complement government efforts in providing affordable housing to Nigerians on a large scale at minimal cost. Niche Affordable Housing Limited promotes delivery of affordable housing on large scale and minimal cost through advocacy, strategic partnership, networking of housing stakeholders, capacity building, sites and services, value chain management, etc. Niche Housing's strategic objective is to facilitate delivery of quality housing, either through rent or owning the houses, at moderate prices, and off-takers and construction financing at single-digit interest rate. The theme of today's event is innovative financing of affordable housing, and the sub-theme is delivering affordable housing through cooperatives. This event is aimed at preferring solutions that will enhance value for government expenditure on housing and ensure realization of the dreams of low and medium income earners in the formal and informal sectors. The conference will x-ray the Nigeria housing finance system vis-a-vis global best practices, highlight opportunities cum challenges in the system, and recommend possible reforms that will optimize the effectiveness and efficiency of various government housing agencies and programs. The conference will also examine some innovative strategies in housing finance for possible adaptation and adoption. Some of these innovations include the role of insurance industry, pensions fund, Islamic funds, and so on. The conference will also examine some innovative strategies other than the ones mentioned above towards the end of today. We will highlight successes achieved by other countries in delivering affordable houses to their nationals, to cooperative societies, and recommend how these successes can be replicated in Nigeria. Kenya in particular had made substantial progress in delivering affordable housing through savings and credit cooperative societies, popularly called SACCOs. We are lucky to have in our midst a Kenyan friend and brother, Mr. David Ndegwa. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Who has been at the forefront of delivering affordable housing through Kenyan cooperative societies. He's here to share his experience and to help start similar cooperative housing movement in Nigeria. There is need to organize and empower off-takers in order to secure fair deals with other housing stakeholders. This conference will witness the launch of the Federation of Housing Cooperatives of Nigeria to represent the interests of housing off-takers and for the emergence of mechanisms to accelerate formation of social capital for affordable housing. Several challenges hindering provision of affordable housing have been identified in the past. However, lack of off-takers' access to credit line is the major and most critical challenge that must be tackled for us to achieve success in affordable housing delivery. There have been disproportionate focus on provision of construction finance without corresponding provisions for off-takers' finance, and this explains the preponderance of completed houses around our cities without buyers or occupants. Housing is a basic human necessity, and it has direct relationship with citizens' quality of life. Consequently, Nigeria needs to create effective demand for housing by enhancing purchasing power of its populace and access to credit line at single-digit interest rate towards delivering affordable housing. Similarly, housing development must be tailored to the need and affordability of the buyers. This calls for housing reform and a paradigm shift from supply side to demand side, from construction financing to off-takers financing. The proposed housing finance reform will provide a win-win solution as adequate and cost-effective financing of home buyers will indirectly translate into construction finance. In addition, this solution will form a basis for necessary guarantees required to attract prospective foreign investors into Nigeria's affordable housing market. I must express my gratitude to those who made this conference a reality, including our sponsors, participants, exhibitors, vendors, members of the organizing committee, staff members of Niche Affordable Housing. I must also mention in particular the unflinching support of WAPIC Insurance PLC. Can we give a round of applause to the MD? She's here with us. Federal Ministry of Works, Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing and its parastatals, Ministry of Finance, Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Ministry of Federal Capitals Territory, Zambia Properties, Royal Exchange Insurance PLC, Niger State Development Corporation, EcoStone, ASO Savings and Loans, Family Homes Fund. My brother and friend is here, Mr. Femi Adiwole. Please give him a round of applause too. Thank you. And others who have and will be supporting Niche Housing in the quest to promote delivery of affordable housing on a large scale and at minimal cost, I repeat, to Nigerians. Once again, I welcome our dignitaries, facilitators, housing stakeholders, especially off-takers and corporators, media and everyone to the second Housing Finance Coverage Conference and Affordable Housing Fair 2018. Please accept my best wishes for fruitful deliberations and successful outcome. Thank you.
For me, that applause is not as loud as it ought to be. Over the years, we've been crying and shouting at top of our voices for the entire world to hear that the reasons why we've not been able to have affordable housing is because each time estates are built, and estates for even low-income earners, what eventually happens at the long run is that it is such properties or such estates are hijacked by the powers that be in government. And this has been happening repeatedly. And I think with this type of step taking today by niche housing, I can assure you that yes, we're on the right track to getting affordable housing for low-income earners. I think they deserve another big round of applause. Can we give Nish a very big round of applause? He's also told us the theme and the sub-theme for this conference, which to me makes a whole lot of meaning. Innovative financing of affordable housing. There is innovation in it. It is not like, the usual business that we do when it comes to housing. Makes the interest rate a double digit, and it becomes very Herculean for even civil servants to possibly buy into. And then the sub-theme, delivering affordable housing through cooperatives, which means that of retired permanent secretary Basi Ekpayong to please do us the honor of coming forward to the podium for the chairman's address. Can we please welcome him with a very resounding applause? Mr. Chairman, sir.
Members of the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me stand by the already established protocol and to say that I've been co-opted to do this. It's just this morning, so I'll just speak to the issues. Well, I want to start by saying that the housing sector and housing delivery in the country has been one of the most serious problems that government has been facing over the years. Government, in its wisdom, also has attempted to solve these problems using a number of models. When in the 80s, and even before then, it tried to accommodate its staff using the housing scheme of those days, build houses, and then allocates to its staff, and then takes the funds from there to build more houses. It was okay when the population of the service was manageable. But as the years went by, it became obvious that that model could no longer service its staff. Then it moved into the era of monetization or selling off of those houses and then monetizing them into the salaries of civil servants, and then working out a modality where they can get housing mortgages to procure their houses. But even earlier than that, to address the issue for the lower income populace, the Shagari regime also had a scheme which was popularly called the Shagari Housing Scheme. But you know that scheme was fraught with a lot of problems, where houses were built in places that were not accessible, and also today, after more than 20 or 30 years, those houses are still not accessible in some states. But then, government needed to continue to try to find a solution to the housing problems of the country. The deficit in housing has become quite enormous, but the solution continued to be elusive. What exactly is the problem? The fact is, the mortgage system as we have it does not lend itself to especially the public sector because of the low wages of the people who are supposed to benefit from this. But the current administration has taken a keener interest by trying to solve this through the fish. And some headway is being made, but government alone cannot handle it. That is why the initiative of niche is quite a welcome development. In a situation where houses are built and people cannot afford, is a very serious problem. Because the investors have invested some money and they invested those monies in the hope that there will be off-takers so that they get their money back, plow them back into either that same scheme or moving into certain other areas. For the economy as a whole, the housing sector holds a very strong positive impact on employment, on growth of the economy, because the inputs that are coming into the housing sector have an impact on stimulating activities in the economy that adds up to the GDP. Now, we have issues of inaccessibility or difficulty in getting credit or mortgage to finance the houses. We have issues of houses that have been built that have not been taken up, not because people don't want to take them up, but because they are unable to take them up. That is why this conference, which addresses how to solve the financing issues of housing through cooperatives, is something that is welcome at this moment. A number of us are aware that most government agencies, especially the paramilitary and some ministries, have had to use their cooperatives to acquire land in FCT or in Nasarawa State and distribute to their members and other members of the public that are interested. But even for these ones, after they have acquired the land, there are issues with then building for themselves. So how can we assist these people? Ladies and gentlemen, that's why we are seated here today, to listen to the various players in this field, especially in the financial sector of the housing delivery sector. What options are available? Can we rethink those models that we have had in the past, and critically look at what exactly made them to fail? We can also look at the situation where the model for public sector to build and be taken installmentally from the occupiers, such that at the end of their service life, the house reverts to them. while their monthly contribution also goes back into building more houses. The solution is not simple, it's not one. It may, at the end, be a combination of so many options. And that is what we have to think about as we look into this topic. We are grateful to have our friend from Kenya who's going to share their experience with us. How did they do it? Who assisted them? Can we use the same financiers? What exactly are we not doing right? So, in looking at this, we should free our minds and be frank about the things that are to be done. Why is it not possible to access mortgage for those who want them? Is it because the monies are not there? Is it because of the low wages or whatever? These are things that we have to look and then try to bring them in. Much recently, the Family Homes Fund has been created and specifically designed for the low-income workers. And government is working with the private sector, is working with the services to see how we can build houses that come under 5 million. Actually, we started with something much lower, but 5 million looks like what we might be looking at the end of it, or considering the cost of materials and those, to address the housing needs of the low-income persons. Ideas are needed. Solutions are needed. And therefore, as I welcome you to this conference, I ask that you open your mind and discuss frankly with us as to what you consider the best solution to financing the housing needs of our country, especially the low-income persons, both in the public and private sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you once again, and I thank you for making yourself available. I wish you a most fruitful period of deliberations. Thank you.
Of retired Permanent Secretary Basi Akbayong to please do us the honor of coming forward to the podium for the chairman's address. Can we please welcome him with a very resounding applause? Mr. Chairman, sir.
Members of the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me stand by the already established protocol and to say that I've been co-opted to do this. It's just this morning, so I'll just speak to the issues. Well, I want to start by saying that the housing sector and housing delivery in the country has been one of the most serious problems that government has been facing over the years. Government, in its wisdom also, has attempted to solve these problems using a number of models. When in the 80s, and even before then, it tried to accommodate its staff using the housing scheme of those days, build houses, and then allocates to its staff, and then takes the funds from there to build more houses. It was okay when the population of the service was manageable.